Hi, my name is Jill White-Huffman. I'm a licensed professional counselor and a marriage family therapist. I'm also located here in Greensboro, North Carolina. One of the things that I'd like to invite you to do is visit my Facebook page. I usually try to have some topics on there, just of different concerns, different issues and challenges that people come to me with, along with things that I've researched and felt might be helpful for you viewers. Now today what I'm going to talk to you about is I'm going to talk to you about trust. I'm going to talk to you about insecurity and attachment insecurities. And so I kind of lump those all together because they do kind of overflow. One of the things that people will come in and complain about is having trust issues. They'll say, it's just really, really hard for me to trust. And so why is it sometimes so hard for people to trust? A lot of times may have been mixed messages that have caused these trust issues. And so what does that look like? Maybe, there's been a lot of uncertainty, a lot of doubt, just a lot of from past experiences that have led you to have some of these mixed messages. Maybe you've been told or promised over time that something would happen, and then it never did manifest. And so, of course, that would certainly cause you to lack trust. Some deceptions. Maybe there's been a lot of dishonesty or a lot of lying. People that you've come in contact with, whether it's been your family members, maybe, or whether it's been relational, meaning a love relationship, or maybe a friendship where people have let you down a lot by lying to you. You find out that they've been dishonest. That deception would certainly cause you to have some trust issues. And then maybe it's just been that inner voice that's fostered some trust issues. So maybe you may not feel worthy or loved. You may not have that self-love for yourself, or because of some of your past experiences or how you view yourself. You may constantly hear these inner voices speaking to you saying, how can I trust a particular situation when I don't even trust myself? It's not so much that you're deceptive or you're lying or being dishonest with people, but that you don't feel worthy. So that would certainly cause you not to trust another person when you don't even feel or like yourself enough to think that, that people are trustworthy. Now, there's 4 general principles that could certainly help in rebuilding trust, and these things may be helpful. One of the things that, I certainly would encourage is that, you strive to have relationships where people are honest and that they have a lot of integrity. And sometimes it takes a while to know a person. A lot of times people become so needy that, just not knowing a person for a short period of time, they may already sort of label that person as their friend or somebody that they can trust, and so sometimes it just takes a while. Looking at some of their habits, maybe, and I'm not saying testing them out. I don't think that games should certainly be played, but, there may have been appointed events or appointments or things that you two may have made together, so you can see how reliable that person is, and see, or they may have said, I'll do something with you or for you. And so you can see where the integrity lies there. Is that person honest? Are they forthcoming and trustworthy? So those are some ways that you can build trust. Of course, understanding and accepting, another person's view, because, no two people think alike. So, if you're having trust issues, sometimes it may be because of a lack of misunderstanding. So it's trying to look and understand and accept and appreciate the differences that you two have may help with you rebuilding your trust within yourself to be able to trust other people. And then direct communication. So it's always important not to be passive and then show sort of a passive aggressive side where you're holding things in and you're not forthcoming in communicating what your needs and your concerns are. So when you're trying to build trust, it's just really important that you communicate your concerns, your needs, but that you do it in an assertive and loving and caring way. Of course, when we think about insecurities, why do people struggle with insecurities? A lot of times, again, it's as a concept of what they think and how they feel about themselves. And again, some of their past experiences may brought on some of the insecurities. So whether it's relational or just environmental or some of the things, the challenges that you've had in your past where people have caused you to feel insecure or not lovable. And so the biggest thing when you're feeling insecure is that you really have to work on those pieces of yourself and determining, like, am I too needy? Am I too clingy? Because if you've really got insecure issues, then certainly other people will pick it up, and so you don't want to run people away. The goal is to bring people closer towards you, especially when they're positive, when they can be positive influences in your life, whether it's a relationship of an intimate type of relationship or friendship. So you certainly want to be able to draw those positive people to you. So if you become too needy, too clingy, sometimes it may make a person withdraw. When we think about healthy ways to overcome those insecurities, of course, you want to definitely stop confusing your imagination with reality. So, again, viewing things from a more realistic point of view and not putting everybody in the same category, giving people a chance to kind of prove themselves, but setting those appropriate boundaries would be most helpful. When we think about, how do we overcome some of the insecurities, of course, you can't compare yourself with other people. Remember, you are an individual, so you don't, and you're designed, in your perfect way. So no two people are alike, so don't try to compare yourself. And then because things are not working out, or you don't have, or you can't look like, or you can't afford, or whatever that comparison is, then you don't want to do that, because then you don't want to feel inadequate because there's discrepancies on what that person may look like, what they may afford. So those comparisons are really bad. Just know that you're unique, you're different, you've got something to bring to the table for those particular friends and those relationships that you need. Now, the other thing is of course, you want to stop trying to mind read. So you don't want to always try to figure out what another person's thinking or what they're feeling about you. So, all you can do is present yourself in a positive in light and be very very adept in terms of how you communicate something. So you're assertive, you're addressing your needs. And so if that person does not appreciate what it is that you need, doesn't mean that you have to totally ditch the person. So whether it's a love relationship or a friendship or even family members, when you're trying to communicate some of your needs, it just might mean that you differ and that but it may be that you all may be more distance friends or more distance relationship, that it couldn't be a romantic relationship or an intimate relationship, that maybe you need to remain friends because you know that these are things that you would not be able to tolerate in terms of what that structure or that boundary that you have for yourself. And that's okay. Again, it's okay to disagree. They could still be nice people, but it just may not be that person for you in terms of a friendship or a loving relationship. The other thing is that you avoid certain traps that just didn't line up or apply to again what your desires and your needs are. And so again, that would be that structure building, and again setting those boundaries. So all those things are really important when you think about insecurities. And the biggest key too is just noticing what you are like as a person. So if you know that you're constantly one of those yes people, one of those clingy people, then you may have to set a bigger boundary for yourself for a short period of time until you work through some of those components that are causing you to feel insecure. As you get healthier, then it'll be easier for you to say no and to be able to draw healthier relationships and friendships into your world and into your life. The other issue that people struggle with, of course, is attachment insecurities. And so when we're thinking about ways to overcome those negative attachment insecurities, the biggest thing that might be helpful is that you get to know what your attachment pattern is like. And so, one of the ways to do that is you can always Google like attachment patterns, or and then it'll bring up, for attachment styles. And we talk about, secure attachments, avoidant attachments, of course, oblivious and anxious attachments, and disorganized attachments. So once you recognize where you fall under those categories, you want to certainly try, if the goal is to develop healthy relationships, then you want to seek out individuals who have secure attachments. Remember, the things that you gravitate towards, if you're there for long periods of time, then a lot of times you'll pick up a lot of those same traits, characteristics, behaviors, whatever it is. Because remember, things are learned. And when we practice it over and over and over again, we can sort of inherit some of those tendencies. So you always want to try to be around those secure attached people. And then, if you're really having a difficult time, with trust issues, insecurity, those understanding and being able to really be able to maneuver those attachment patterns that are going on within yourself that it's hard for you to break, especially the negative ones that are causing people to pull away from you and not draw closer to you, or you're drawing and becoming more familiar in environments that could be unhealthy. Then I certainly encourage you to seek out help. This is when counseling can certainly be helpful to you. So I hope you've been able to learn something from this segment. I do invite you to visit my website, to visit my Facebook page. There's lots of topics that I talk about. And hopefully, if one is not of interest to you, maybe you've got a family member or a friend that could benefit. My name is Jill White-Huffman. I'm a licensed professional counselor, a marriage and family therapist, and I'm also a licensed massage and bodywork therapist. Over the years, I've had the opportunity to work with lots and lots of individuals. In my private practice as a massage therapist, I've worked with just so many different chronic issues. I've worked with people that are just enduring a lot of stress. I tend to use a lot of different modalities. People will ask, Jill, what do you most specialize in? Of course, you'll be able to visit my website if you have an opportunity, and it'll tell you some of the things that I work mostly with, the modalities that I work and techniques that I work most with. But I will say, I don't call myself one particular therapist. I tend to try to work with the body, with the different needs and the different elements that you express, and those areas that I feel as I am working on the body that may need some help. So it just depends on what's going on, is the technique that I use. As a licensed professional counselor, of course, you'll see that about 98% of the population that I work with are couples, but that does not negate that I do not work, that I will not work with individuals, because I do work with individuals. I work with individuals with just all types of issues. People come into me because, they're making some life adjustment situations. They may be encountering some stress related issues, adjustment, some grief and loss. I work a lot with depression, anxiety, and some of the PTSD as it relates to just some of the traumatic events that have happened in people's lives, or as it relates to, say, postpartum depression, or some of the infidelity issues that people have struggled or are working through. So again, I do encourage you to visit my website. I have a lot more information there where you can learn more about me. And also go over to my Facebook page. There's so many different topics that I write about, and hopefully there's some tips that I can share with you, some things that may be helpful to you with different issues. So as it relates to something physical, as it relates to something emotional, or it could be mental, emotional, or physical. So again, rush over, look at my Facebook page, and I hope you'll enjoy reading some of the topics. Now, I hope that the segment that I'm sharing today has certainly been helpful to you. If you've got any questions, do feel free to call me. The number, it's 336-855-1860. 336-855-1860. Thank you.